How did one joke at a rooftop bar end with a process server handing me papers in my office lobby? Why did my husband stay calm, let me talk, and then use the law to pull the floor out from under me? My name is Vashti Caldwell, and I always knew how to make a room listen. I worked in customer success at a software company, so I was paid to sound calm and sure. At home, I did the same thing. I spoke like I was reasonable, even when I was not. I told myself that was just being smart. That night started like a reward. It was a rooftop bar downtown, with warm lights and loud music and small tables that made you lean close. My friend Sloane had picked it because it looked good on video. She said the skyline would make us look rich. I liked that idea. I liked being seen. Sloane asked how marriage was going, and she made a face like she already knew the answer. Dylan was there too, and he was smiling like he was waiting for a show. Raina came later, still wearing her work badge like she forgot it was on. I said things that sounded funny in my head. I said, I did not marry for love, not really. I said love was a nice extra, like a candle you buy at checkout. I said the real thing was safety. I said I married Evan for the money, for the stable life, for the house, for the way bills got paid on time. Sloane laughed too loud and asked if I even liked him. I said I liked what he gave me. I said I was honest, and honesty should not be punished. Dylan lifted his glass like it was a toast, and Sloane held up her phone and said she wanted a quick clip. I did not tell them that Evan was not some rich man. He was an electrician who had built a small business. The money was not magic. It was long hours, early mornings, dirty work, and his hands smelling like metal when he washed them. But that did not fit the story I wanted. I wanted the story where I was the clever one. Raina asked if Evan knew I talked like this. I said he knew I was real. I said he acted hurt because he liked control, and my words made him feel small. That was how I framed it. Even then, I could feel the line in my mind, make him the problem, and I stay clean. Sloane turned her phone a little, and I leaned in like a celebrity. I smiled. I said it again, slower, like a punchline. I said I married him for money. Then I saw Evan. He was near the elevator area, not inside our circle, but close enough. He stood still, like he had been there for a moment. His face looked flat, like a door that had quietly closed. He did not shout. He did not slam anything. He just came over and asked if I was ready to go. Sloane froze for half a second. Dylan stared at his drink. Raina looked down like she suddenly needed to read a message. I felt heat in my neck. I hated that he had walked in at that exact time. I hated that he did it quietly. If he had been loud, I could have called him dramatic. I could have won. I said I was having fun and he was ruining it. He asked again if I was ready to go. I said he always timed things to embarrass me. He said nothing back. He just waited. In my head, I wrote the story fast. I told myself he had been watching me. I told myself he came up here to police me. I told myself he did this because he was insecure. That story made me feel better than the truth, which was simple. I had been cruel, and he had heard it. In the car, he kept his eyes forward. The streetlights moved across his face like slow waves. He asked what I meant by what I said. He asked it in a calm voice, which made me angry. Calm felt like a trap. I told him he was twisting my words. I told him it was a joke. I told him he never understood humor. He asked why the joke was about him being a wallet. I said he was too sensitive. I said he always tried to start a fight when I wanted one good night. He said he did not want to fight. He said he wanted respect. I said respect follows results, and I had results. That line came out smooth, and I liked how it sounded. It made me feel powerful. It also made him go quiet. When we got home, the house smelled like soap and the kids' shampoo. That smell usually softened me. That night it did not. I walked in first and kicked off my shoes like I owned the place alone. Evan followed and locked the door, slow and careful. He went to the kitchen sink and rinsed his mug from earlier. He set it on the counter, but not near mine. It was a small thing. but it felt like a message. I told myself he was being childish. I told myself I was above it. He asked if I meant what I said. I said he was trying to punish me for speaking the truth. I said he liked me quiet because then he felt like a big man. He looked at me for a moment, and I could tell he was measuring words, like he did with wires and tools. He said he never asked for worship. He said he asked for basic respect. I told him respect was earned, and I reminded him that I left my job options open for him. I said I could have had anyone. That was not true, not the way I said it, but it sounded strong. He asked if I was unhappy. I said yes, because he made it boring. I said he worked and slept and expected me to clap. I said he did not flirt with me anymore. I said he looked at me like a bill. I said I needed to feel chosen. I did not say the part that mattered. I did not say that Trevor from work had been texting me late, and that I liked how it felt. I did not say I liked the attention because it asked nothing from me. I did not say I liked having a secret that made me feel young. Evan went quiet again. He took his phone out and glanced at the screen. I saw a calendar notification pop up for a second. It said, "Meeting personal." No details. No place. No name. It made my stomach tighten. I asked what meeting that was. He said it was just a meeting. I said he never had meetings at night. He said it was for personal things. I said that sounded suspicious. He did not rise to it. He just turned the phone face down on the counter. That calm made me feel like I was losing ground. So I pushed harder. I said he was acting like a victim because it was easy. I said he enjoyed being seen as the good guy. I said my friends thought he was controlling. I said everyone could see it. He asked which friends. I said it did not matter. He asked if I had been talking about him again. I said he was trying to isolate me. I said he wanted me to have no one but him. The words came fast, like a script I already knew. He walked past me and up the stairs without touching me. He did not block me. He did not threaten me. He did not do anything that would make my story look real. That was the worst part. In the hallway upstairs, he paused. He asked if I planned to keep humiliating him. I said he was humiliating himself by being so weak about a joke. He nodded once like he had heard enough. I stood in the kitchen alone and listened to the house settle. The refrigerator hummed. The clock ticked. The silence felt too clean. I told myself he would get over it by morning. I told myself I was right. I told myself he needed to learn that I could say what I wanted. But when I went upstairs later, I saw the guest room door not fully closed, like it had been used. Evan's side of the bed looked untouched, and on the counter, his phone alarm was set for early morning with a label I had never seen before. Paper drop. Monday morning felt sharp. The office lights were too white, and everyone's voice sounded like it had a small edge. I walked in like nothing happened. I wore the same confident face I used with clients. I told myself I was still in control. My phone buzzed before I even sat down. It was Sloane. She sent me a screenshot of the rooftop clip. I saw my own mouth moving in the tiny frame. I saw the skyline behind me. I saw Sloane's caption with laughing emojis. My stomach turned, but I did not admit it. Sloane asked if Evan was still mad. I wrote that he was being dramatic. She said men always act hurt when they lose control. I wrote that she was right. I liked how fast she agreed with me. It made me feel safe. At my desk, I opened my laptop and pulled up a customer spreadsheet. I stared at the numbers, but I did not read them. I kept thinking about Evan's face. It had been too calm. Calm felt like planning. Raina walked by and paused near my desk. She asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. She said people were talking about a video. I said it was a joke. She asked if I wanted it taken down. I said no, because I was not ashamed. I made my voice loud enough for a few people to hear. I wanted the room to accept my version. A little later, I saw two co-workers glance at me and then look away. I told myself they were jealous. I told myself they wished they had my life. It was easier than thinking they were judging me. Around noon, Trevor texted. He asked if I could step out for a minute. I wrote that I was busy. He wrote that he was in town for one day and he wanted to see me. I felt the small thrill that always came with his messages. He never sounded tired. He never sounded disappointed in me. He sounded like I was a prize. I wrote that I could meet in the parking garage for a quick hello. I called it harmless in my head. I told myself it did not count as anything. When I walked to the elevator, I kept my face neutral. I passed the break area and I heard someone say my name, then stop. I kept walking like I did not hear. If I acted normal, the world had to act normal too. That was my rule. In the parking garage, the air smelled like concrete and old heat. Trevor leaned against his car like he owned the space. He smiled when he saw me. He asked if my husband was still upset. I said Evan was always upset about something. He asked what I meant. I said Evan liked control and he could not handle jokes. Trevor stepped closer and asked if I was safe at home. That question sounded caring, but it also sounded useful. I said I was fine. Then I added that Evan could be cold. I watched Trevor's face, waiting for sympathy. He gave it to me fast. He said I deserved to feel wanted. I told myself that proved my point. He asked if I could see him later that week. I said I had family plans. He said I always had family plans. I said my kids needed routines. He said he understood, but his tone did not match the words. A car passed behind us and I pulled back. I told him we had to be careful. He asked what careful meant. I said Evan was watching me lately. Trevor asked if Evan had my location. I said no, but I was not sure. Trevor said I should check my phone settings. He made it sound like advice, but it felt like fear. Before I left, he asked if I loved my husband. I laughed like the question was silly. I said love was complicated and adults did what worked. Trevor nodded like he agreed, but his eyes looked away for a second. That tiny moment annoyed me. I wanted him to stay impressed. Back at my desk, I tried to focus. I answered emails. I wrote polite lines to clients. I used smiley faces. My hands moved, but my mind stayed somewhere else. At 3, my phone buzzed again. It was my mother, Naomi. She asked how Evan was acting after the bar. I told her he was sulking. She said I should not let him make me feel small. She said I deserved comfort after all I did for the family. I did not correct her. I let her feed my story. After work, I went to the gym. I told Evan I had a class. He asked which class. I said a cardio one. He asked what time I would be home. I said soon. His voice stayed flat. He did not accuse me. That made me uneasy. At the gym lobby, I took a selfie in the mirror near the sign with the logo. I posted it with a caption about choosing myself. Sloane commented with fire emojis. Dylan wrote that I was glowing. I liked that word. I wanted to be a person who glowed, not a person who hurt her husband. When I came home, Evan was in the kitchen. The kids were coloring at the table. Piper looked up and asked if I brought snacks. I said I forgot, and I promised tomorrow. Jace kept drawing, but he leaned toward Evan's side of the table. Evan asked if we could talk after bedtime. I said we could talk now. He said he did not want to do it in front of the kids. I said he was always so careful and serious. Piper listened with her eyes, even when she pretended not to. After the kids were in bed, Evan opened his laptop at the kitchen counter. He showed me the budget app. He asked if I knew why our spending was higher this month. I said prices were higher everywhere. He asked about a few charges, small ones, like coffee and parking. I said he was tracking me like a detective. He said he was not tracking me. He said he was trying to plan. He asked if I could help keep things steady. I said he was acting like the money was his and not ours. He said it was ours, but bills were real. I said he wanted to punish me for that joke. He asked why I kept calling it a joke. I said because it was. I said he took everything personally. He asked if I even liked him anymore. I said he was making it about his feelings again. I watched his face for anger, but he did not give it. He closed the laptop and walked into his small office corner near the living room. I followed, not because I cared, but because I needed to know what he was doing. On his desk, I saw a neat stack of folders. One had a label that said bank, another said utilities. They looked too clean, too organized, like props for a plan. I asked what those were. He said he was sorting household papers. I said he never sorted anything before. He said he was doing it now. His voice stayed even. I reached toward the bank folder, like it was mine too. He put his hand on it first, not grabbing me, just blocking the folder. He asked me not to touch his work papers right now. I said I was his wife, and I could touch what I wanted. He did not argue. He opened a drawer instead and slid the folders inside. The drawer clicked shut. That click made my throat tighten. It sounded like a lock without a lock. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself he was trying to scare me. Later, when I walked past the hallway mirror, I saw my own face and it looked slightly lost. I did not like that. I went back to the bedroom and checked my phone again. Trevor had sent a new message asking if I missed him. I stared at it a long time. Then I wrote that I was busy, but I would figure it out. In the dark, Evan lay on his side, facing away. I asked if he was still mad. He said he was tired. I said he was acting like a victim. He did not answer. I listened to his breathing and tried to convince myself that calm meant weakness. But the folder labels, the drawer click, and the way he avoided fights all felt like something else. It felt like he was letting me talk so I would leave marks behind. The dinner at the family restaurant was not my idea. Evan's mother Marlene had invited us, and Evan agreed too fast. He said it would be good for the kids. I told myself he wanted an audience. I told myself he wanted to make me look bad in front of his parents. We arrived early, and the long table was already half full. Gordon, Evan's father, sat at one end, quiet as usual. Marlene sat near the middle, like she ran the place. Evan's sister and her husband were there too, smiling in that careful way people smile when they know something is wrong. The kids climbed into their seats. Piper asked for the kids' menu. Jay started tapping his spoon on the table. Evan helped them settle, without looking at me much. That small distance felt like a public insult. I decided I would not sit and take it. Marlene asked how work was going. I said work was fine, and I was busy. She asked how the house was. I said the house was fine too, but money talks were getting intense. I said Evan had been acting strange since a night out with friends. I said he had been moody. Evan asked me to keep private issues private. He said it calmly, like he was reminding me about manners. That calm made me want to push. I said he was proving my point. I said he always tried to control the story. Marlene looked at Evan and then looked at me. She asked what happened at the night out. I said it was a harmless joke and Evan took it badly. I said he could not handle humor. I said I was just being honest about what adults do. Gordon asked what I meant by that. I said people married for many reasons, and money was a normal reason. I said safety mattered. I said I had given Evan years of support, and now he acted like I owed him worship. Evan kept cutting the kids' food. He asked Piper if she wanted more water. He asked Jace to sit on his chair properly. He did not defend himself. He did not call me a liar. That silence felt like a challenge, so I filled it. I said Evan worked all the time and expected me to be grateful. I said he never made me feel special. I said he counted every dollar lately, like I was a stranger. I said it felt like punishment. Marlene said respect mattered in a marriage. She did not raise her voice. She did not insult me. That was almost worse. I said respect went both ways, and Evan had not earned mine lately. I said he had gotten comfortable. Evan's sister looked down at her plate. Her husband sipped his drink and stayed quiet. I could tell they wanted the night to be smooth, but I did not. I wanted to win. I wanted Evan to react. Evan finally looked at me and asked if we could talk about this later at home. I said he was trying to silence me again. I said he cared more about his image than my feelings. I said his family always took his side, so of course he wanted to hide it. Marlene asked if I was happy. I said happiness was hard when a man acted like a wallet and a judge at the same time. I said I did not sign up to feel monitored. Evan asked what I meant by monitored. I said he looked at our spending like it was a crime. I said he asked too many questions. He said he asked because bills existed. I said he was making excuses. Piper stopped eating and watched us. She asked if we were fighting. Evan told her we were not fighting and we were just talking. I said we were fine, and I smiled too wide. Piper did not smile back. After dinner, Marlene pulled Evan aside near the front. I could not hear everything, but I saw her hand on his arm for a second. I saw his head nod once. Then he walked back to the car and opened the door for Jace. On the drive home, Evan said nothing about the dinner. That made me feel like I did not land my hits. I told myself he was sulking. I told myself he was trying to punish me with silence. But it did not feel like sulking. It felt like he had decided something. The next afternoon, I met Evan in the school pickup line. I usually came alone, but he started coming more often. He parked in line behind me, then moved up and waved at Piper when she walked out. Piper ran to him first. She hugged his waist and leaned into him like he was a safe wall. I told myself it was because he was the fun one. I told myself I was the strict one, and kids always did that. Still, it pinched. A parent near me leaned in and asked about the rooftop video. She said it lightly, but her eyes were bright with interest. I laughed and said it was silly. I said people took everything too seriously. She asked if Evan was upset. I said he was always upset, and he needed to toughen up. Evan walked up with Piper and Jace and asked if we could leave. He did not greet the other parent. He did not smile for the gossip. He just buckled the kids in and waited. On the way to the supermarket, I told Evan he embarrassed me in the pickup line by acting cold. He asked what he did. I said he made me look like the problem by not joining my laugh. He asked if I wanted him to laugh at being mocked. I said it was not mocking, it was reality. At the supermarket, I pushed the cart fast. I grabbed snacks, extra fruit, and a few things I wanted, like nicer coffee and a new candle. Evan watched but did not comment. That silence made me feel bold, like I could take what I wanted and he would still pay. At checkout, the cashier scanned everything and told us the total. I held the card out, the shared one, like a queen handing over a token. The machine beeped, then beeped again. The cashier looked at me and said it did not go through. My face burned. I tried again. Same beep. People behind us shifted. I felt their patience on my back like weight. I turned to Evan and asked what he did. I said he must have changed something. Evan looked at the screen and asked the cashier to hold for a moment. He took out a different card and paid without drama. He said we would talk at home. He did not explain in front of the line. He did not shame me. He did not yell. He simply covered it like he was cleaning a spill. That made me furious in a quiet way. I wanted him to look bad, not me. I wanted him to panic, not me. I wanted his hands to shake. Instead, mine shook. In the car, I said he was humiliating me on purpose. He asked how he humiliated me when he paid. I said the decline was the humiliation. He asked if I wanted him to keep spending open without limits. I said I wanted him to stop acting like my father. He asked if I knew why the card declined. I said I did not, because he handled money like it was his private toy. He said it was not a toy. He said there were limits now, so bills and the kids came first. He said it like it was a policy, not a threat. At home, I went into his office corner when he stepped away. I told myself I had the right. I saw his laptop open for a second. A spreadsheet was on the screen, with lines and dates. I could not read the headings before he came back. He asked what I was doing. I said I was looking for a charger. He said the charger was in the kitchen drawer. I said he was accusing me of snooping. He said he was stating facts. That sentence made my stomach drop. He had never talked like that before. He sounded like someone learning new habits. Later that night, Sloane sent me another message about the video. She said it was getting shared outside our circle. She asked if I wanted her to delete it. I told her no. I said if Evan could not handle the truth, that was his issue. I said I was not going to hide. Then I rolled over in bed and saw Evan's phone light up for a second on the dresser. A small cloud icon flashed with a message that said a file had uploaded successfully. He picked up the phone and turned it face down again, smooth and quiet, like he had practiced. The next weekend had a kids' event at the community hall. It was one of those loud afternoons with folding chairs, paper banners, and parents trying to look relaxed. Piper had to stand with her class and sing a short song. Jace was excited because there were balloons. Evan came with us and carried the small bag with snacks and wipes. He wore a plain shirt and looked like he wanted to be invisible. I told myself he was doing it for sympathy. I told myself he wanted people to see him as the patient husband with the difficult wife. Sloane came too, because she liked any place with witnesses. She said it would be cute content. Dylan arrived later and acted like he was just there for the kids, but he kept checking who was watching. Before the singing started, I moved toward a group of parents I knew from pickup. They smiled at me in that careful way, like they were choosing a safe distance. I felt annoyed, so I tightened my smile and made my voice bright. One parent asked if Evan was coming to the holiday fundraiser. I said he would, but he would probably complain about money. I said he treated every dollar like a sacred thing. I said it like a joke, and a few people laughed, but it sounded thin. Sloane leaned in and asked if Evan was still mad about the rooftop clip. I said he was still acting sensitive. I said he loved playing the good guy. Sloane asked if he had tried to punish me with the budget. I said yes, and I said it was controlling. I made sure someone nearby could hear that word. Evan walked up behind me then, not loud, not angry. He asked if Piper needed anything before she went up front. I said she was fine. He asked if I could stop talking about private stuff here. He said it low and calm. I felt a flash of rage because he was still trying to manage me, even gently. So I turned it into a show. I said he was proving my point again. I said he always tried to control what I said. I said he cared more about looking perfect than being kind. He did not argue. He nodded once and stepped away. That calm felt like a wall. I could not climb it. I could only hit it. When the kids lined up, Evan stood near the side and recorded on his phone like a normal parent. I noticed a soft beep right before he started recording, like an app had opened. Maybe it was nothing. Still, it stayed in my mind. After the song, Piper ran to us. Evan smiled and told her she did great. Piper looked at me, waiting for my reaction. I said she did fine too, and I gave her a quick hug, but my eyes kept tracking Evan's calm face. A little later, Sloane started talking loudly about relationships. She said men who get hurt are usually controlling. She said women should never shrink. I agreed too fast. Dylan nodded and said women deserved upgrades. I laughed, and I said I upgraded when I married Evan. I said it like a punchline, like the rooftop bar again. I saw Marlene across the hall. She had come to support the kids, and she watched me like she was watching a spill spread on a clean floor. She did not confront me there. She just held her purse tight and stared at Evan for a second, like she was checking if he was okay. On the drive home, Evan did not mention what I said. That silence made me feel like I had to force a reaction. At home, I followed him up the stairs. The landing felt narrow, like it pushed us closer. He asked if I could stop humiliating him in public. He asked it in the same calm voice he used with the kids. I said he was calling it humiliation because he was weak. I said he wanted me to speak small so he could feel big. He asked if I heard myself. I said he was trying to make me feel guilty so he could win. He said he would not argue in front of the children anymore. He said the kids were watching, even when we thought they were not. I said he was using the kids to control me. He shook his head and walked past me without touching me. That night, Piper came out of her room after bedtime. She stood in the hallway, holding her blanket, and asked why Dad slept in the guest room. I told her Dad was just tired and liked quiet sometimes. She asked if we were mad at each other. I said no, and I said adults just needed space. Piper looked toward the guest room door. She asked if Dad still liked Mum. My throat tightened, but I kept my voice steady. I said Dad liked Mom, but Dad had big feelings and he needed to calm down. Piper asked if Mom did something wrong. I said no, and I said Dad misunderstood a joke. Piper nodded, but her face looked unsure, like she did not believe either of us. The next day at work, I tried to act normal. I walked into the break area to get coffee, and I saw Trevor leaning by the counter like he belonged there. He asked how my weekend was. I said it was stressful because my husband was being difficult. He asked if Evan was watching me. I said Evan was acting paranoid and dramatic. Trevor asked if the rooftop clip was still online. I said yes, because I was not ashamed. He asked if that was smart. I said it was honest. He said honesty can still hurt. That annoyed me. I told him he sounded like Evan. He said he just did not want trouble. I watched Trevor's face and realized he did not want me if I became a problem. He wanted the fun secret version. He wanted the version that did not spill into daylight. When I got home that evening, the house smelled faintly like toner, like someone had printed something. Evan's office corner was tidy, more tidy than normal. I heard a low shredder hum for a few seconds. Then it stopped. I stood still and listened, trying to decide if I was imagining it. I walked toward the office area and asked what he was doing. He said he was cleaning old paperwork. I asked why now. He said he had let things pile up. His voice stayed even, like he was reading from a simple list. I looked at the counter near the printer. A blank page sat in the tray like it had just come out wrong. I asked if the printer was broken. He said it sometimes fed blank pages. He picked it up and folded it once, then put it in a bin. I wanted to grab his phone, his laptop, anything, but I did not. I told myself I did not care. I told myself I was above snooping. The truth was, I was afraid of what I would find. Later, I checked the kitchen counters and noticed 2 mugs on opposite sides, not near each other. It looked intentional. It looked like distance made physical. At bedtime, Evan read to Jace in the guest room. I stood by the doorway and watched for a moment. Jace asked if Dad would be there in the morning. Evan said yes. Jace asked if Mom would be mad. Evan said Mom was not the enemy, and the house was safe. Hearing him say that made me feel exposed, like he was being careful on purpose. When Evan came out, I asked if he was trying to turn the kids against me. He asked how he could turn them against me by reading a story. I said he was acting like a hero. He said he was acting like a father. I went to our bedroom and lay down, angry and restless. I told myself he was playing a game. I told myself I could still control the story. Then I heard a small metallic sound downstairs, like a drawer being locked, followed by a soft click. And for the first time, I wondered if Evan was not trying to scare me at all. I wondered if he was preparing to leave me, in a way I could not talk my way out of. By the middle of the week, I started to feel the walls closing in. Not real walls, social ones, money ones, time ones. Evan did not chase me anymore. He did not beg for a talk. He did not ask for comfort. He moved through the house like he had a map I could not see. I told myself he was doing it to hurt me. I told myself he wanted me anxious. I told myself that proved he was the bad one. That story helped me sleep, but it did not hold in daylight. On Thursday, Trevor wrote that he could only meet for 10 minutes. He said he was near my office, in the parking garage by the elevators. I wrote back that I could not. Then I wrote that I could. I did that thing where I acted like I had control, then I gave it away. I left my desk and told Raina I had to take a call. She asked if everything was okay. I said yes, and I made my voice cheerful. She stared at me a second longer than usual. She said I looked tired. I said I was just busy. In the garage, the air felt colder than outside. Trevor stood by the concrete pillar, checking his phone like he was waiting for a ride. When he saw me, he smiled, but it looked smaller. He asked if I was okay at home. I said Evan was being weird and controlling again. Trevor asked what controlling meant. I said he was limiting money and asking questions. Trevor said that sounded like he was preparing for something. I told Trevor he was overthinking. Trevor asked if Evan had proof of anything. I asked what he meant. He said people got messy when they felt cornered. I said Evan would never do anything serious because he hated conflict. Trevor said people changed. His eyes moved to my phone in my hand, like he wondered what was on it. I asked Trevor if he was getting scared. He said he did not want drama. I said he was not the one married, so he did not get to judge. He said he was not judging, he was warning me. That word, warning, made me angry. I told him not to talk to me like a parent. A car rolled slowly by and lights washed over us. I stepped back, and Trevor stepped back too, like we both knew how it looked. He asked when he could see me again. I said soon. He asked for a real day. I said I would figure it out. He said he was tired of figuring it out. When I walked away, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Evan. He asked what time I would be home. I stared at it and felt my chest tighten. I wrote that I was still at work. I wrote it fast, like speed could make it true. At home, Evan was in the kitchen with the kids. Piper was doing homework at the table. Jace was pushing toy cars along the edge of his placemat. Evan had cooked something simple, and the smell filled the room like normal life. That normal life made me feel like an intruder. Evan asked how my day was. I said it was fine. He asked if I could talk after the kids went to bed. I said he always wanted to talk, like I was a problem to fix. He said he wanted clarity. I said clarity was his word for control. After bedtime, he sat at the kitchen table, not on the couch. That felt formal, even without papers. He asked me again where I had been that afternoon. I said work. He asked why my office badge log showed I left for a while. I froze for half a second, then I laughed and said he must be mistaken. He said he had asked because he noticed patterns. I said he was stalking me. He asked if calling it stalking made it less true. I said he was acting like a detective instead of a husband. He said he had tried being a husband, and it had not stopped the disrespect. I told him he was being dramatic and punishing me over a joke. He said the joke was not the only thing. He asked if there was someone else. I felt heat rush to my face. I told him he was paranoid. I told him he was imagining things because he wanted to be the victim. I told him I barely had time to breathe, let alone cheat. Saying it out loud felt like stepping onto thin ice and pretending it was stone. He did not argue. He just watched me, and that silence felt like he was letting me lay my own rope. I hated it. I switched tactics. I told him he had pushed me away with his coldness. I said he never touched me affectionately anymore. I said he treated me like a schedule, not a person. I said I needed attention, and he refused to give it. I did not say Trevor's name. I did not say what I had done. I made it about my feelings, because feelings are harder to prove wrong. Evan asked if I wanted to work on the marriage. I said I wanted him to stop controlling money first. I said he could not cut me off like a child. He said no one was cutting me off. He said certain accounts were now protected for bills and the kids, and there would be clear limits. He said it calmly, like he was reading rules. I said he was financially abusing me. He asked how it was abuse to pay the mortgage and the daycare and the groceries. I said it was abuse because he was making me ask. He said he was making the spending visible, not making me beg. I said he was twisting words. My phone buzzed with a notification preview. I grabbed it too fast. Evan's eyes flicked down for a second, and I knew he saw a name. Not a full name, just the first part, but it was enough. I said it was Sloane. He asked why Sloane was messaging late. I said she worried about me because he was acting scary. Evan asked what scary meant. I said his calm was scary. I said his silence was scary. I said his rules were scary. He nodded like he heard me, but he did not accept it. He stood up and walked to the sink. He washed his hands slowly, like he was resetting himself. Then he asked if I could agree to basic boundaries. No public humiliation, no secret trips, no hiding. I said he was giving me ultimatums. I called my mother after, pacing near the driveway door. Naomi asked what was going on. I said Evan was trying to control money and track me. She said I should not tolerate that. She said I should remind him I could leave. She said men got scared when women gained power. I agreed, even though I had not gained power. I had only gained lies. The next evening, Marlene came by to drop off something for the kids. She did not stay long. She looked at my face and then looked away. She asked if the children were okay. I said yes. She asked if Evan was okay. I said he was overreacting. Marlene said she hoped I understood what respect meant. I said I did, and I said she was being unfair. She did not argue. She just left. That night, Evan put the kids' bags by the door for the next day. He checked their lunches. He wrote something on a sticky note and placed it on the counter. It said, "Bring forms." I asked what forms. He said, "School forms." I said I could do it. He said he already did. I followed him into the driveway when he went outside to take the trash. The air was cold and clear. I told him he could not treat me like a roommate. I told him I deserved love and attention. I told him, if he did not give it, I would find it somewhere else. I said it like a threat, then I tried to soften it like a confession. Evan stopped near the curb and looked at me. He asked if I heard what I just said. I said he drove me to it. I said he made me lonely. I said he made me feel invisible. He said he would not fight with me outside. He said neighbors did not need to hear this. I stepped closer, trying to block his path back to the door, not touching him, just standing in the way. He stepped around me calmly. He did not shove me. He did not raise his voice. He did not give me anything I could use. He opened the door, paused, and looked back. He said he was done with games. He said he would handle it properly. I stood in the driveway, watching him go inside, and for the first time, I felt a clean kind of fear, the kind that does not listen to excuses. The next morning, I went to work like I could still outrun the feeling in my chest. I told myself Evan was bluffing. I told myself he liked scary words because he had no real power. In the office tower lobby, I stood near the security desk and pretended to scroll. Raina walked past and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine and just tired. She said I looked pale. I said it was the lighting. A man in a plain jacket stepped toward me and asked if I was Vashti Caldwell. I said yes, and I asked who he was. He said he had documents for me and asked me to confirm my identity again. I said I did not have time for scams. He said he was a process server and this was legal service. My hands went cold when he said Evan's name. I told myself it was a stunt. I told myself Evan could not move that fast. The server handed me a packet and asked me to sign that I received it. I said I wanted to call my husband first. He said I could call anyone I wanted after service, but service was happening now. People in the lobby slowed down. A coworker stared like I was a video. I walked to a bench near the elevators and opened the packet. I saw a divorce filing summary and temporary orders listed in plain language. I saw dates, a schedule, and limits. I saw rules about communication, money, and who stayed where for now. I saw that some parts were effective immediately. I felt my throat tighten, and I told myself it was unfair. I told myself he was trying to ruin my life over a joke. Then I saw the exhibit list. There was the rooftop clip. There were screenshots of messages with times and phone numbers. There were bank entries that matched my work errands. There were parking garage camera references by date and time window. There were notes about school pickup and who did drop-offs. It looked clean, like a timeline built by someone who stopped crying and started filing. My phone buzzed, and Sloane asked what was happening. I did not answer. I walked outside to the public plaza, and the winter air hit my face.